The student, the athlete, the culture. Welcome back, everyone, to Moses Squared Podcast. We hope you enjoyed our last episode, Mic'd Up. We are now streaming episodes on Apple Podcasts, so make sure you subscribe to our channel as well as YouTube and Instagram and leave a review. Now, let's get into episode 19. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Welcome back to Moses Squared Podcast, everyone. It is me, Lauren Brielle, your host, and with my co-host, of course, Desmond Moses, my big bro. And we are back with another one. How have you been? How you been? It's been a few
Thank you
weeks,
guys for
Des.
tuning in.
Yes.
It's been a little bit. It's been a busy 2 weeks. It's been exciting. We
Yes.
have a ton going on right now. Sports. Looks like college is coming back.
College
What do you think?
is
What's
back.
been going on in your life?
Well, the past 2
Yeah.
weeks, I've been saying football is back. Of course, we have the NFL, which everyone was excited about, but we just got some news on Tuesday that the Big Ten football was announced that they will be coming back for 8-game season starting October 24th
Oh,
weekend. I am a little skeptical.
well,
I'm
you know what I
excited.
think.
I'm excited. What do
You
you
know what
think?
I think. I mean, it's a money game. They
Mm,
say these other conferences, even the smaller conferences now, they're playing these games on larger platforms. Smaller conference games are being played on ESPN. I mean, the people want the sports regardless. So if they can't
exactly.
have the top talent, the top tier players out there, the Big Tens, they're going to watch, whoever they can because these kids are exciting too. And some of these guys are future pros and will be playing on Sundays. And it's exciting to see. But I think that these guys have money problems. It comes down to that.
Money problems. Well, I think it was interesting because
Money problems.
I think we heard last week or maybe even 2 weeks ago now that President Donald Trump was consulting with the Big Ten president about their season restarting or returning essentially. And so
Yeah.
then after that consultation of, whatever, they had a meeting with
Yeah.
administration and coaches, ADs. And so that's kind of where this decision was made that, you know what, let's bring Big Ten football back,
Mm,
give the people what they want. And of course, safety is
right.
their number one concern.
Sure. Sure.
You say
Yeah. I
money,
mean, it's
but they
it's
say
it's like
safety.
right. Right. It's like they used to say back in the day. Um, you know, we had our coaches at Iowa used to tell us they used to hold up two fingers and say, "Hey, school is first." Then they hold up one finger and say, "And football second." Just so you know. And I think this still applies. They understand. A lot of these kids, and not only the coaches, but the kids, this is their dream to be able to
Hmm.
play on this level, on this platform. Obviously, the money that's lost in the TV deals and whatnot.
Yeah.
We know this about President Trump. O'Donnell, he is a money guy. He's a money guy. So if anything, this Big Ten president was talking to him about was the money, the revenue that's been lost,
Yep.
and probably how to get it together. But obviously with the safety concerns, they want to make sure the players are safe in a safe environment. And how can they do it the right way, state by state, and still put on a good show for the fans with a great platform and still give these players what they deserve.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the players. Essentially, they've been training, they've been preparing for this.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, they got the news that they wouldn't be playing, and so now I think it's going to be interesting to see them
yeah,
quickly get themselves mentally and physically back into season mindset because they have 8 games, but
yeah,
it's still up in the air about
100%.
conference championships and so on. But another restart is the basketball season. It's a little further down
Yeah,
the road, but NCAA women's and men's basketball announced that they will be returning in the end of November, but
okay.
teams have until November 3rd to decide if they're going to participate in this year's season. So,
And I'll ask you this as a
mhm,
former collegiate basketball player. If you were in this scenario, you know, just a few weeks ago, you're being told you may not play this year, you don't know when you'll
mhm.
play. How do you stay ready as an athlete, as a student athlete, with the challenges faced in this time? How would you try to combat some of these obstacles that these young athletes, student athletes are dealing with?
I would assume that most of them are competitors at the end of the day, and In off season, you're not competing with another team. You're competing with yourself. You're competing with your teammates. And so these players have been training. They've all been back on campus since this summer. Some schools have had to, send kids back to school, but the athletes have been there. So
Sure.
they've been preparing. And for myself, I would prepare as if we have a game to play. And so, hearing that news that you may not be playing, you may be playing, I would prepare to play. Because that's the only way that's the only way that you're going to be successful if you do have a game. If you don't have a game, get your heart broken a little bit.
Yeah.
But you have to prepare to play always.
100%. Sounds like the moral of the story is stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And it's funny because me and my college roommate and best friend Jordan Bernstein, when we were at the University of Iowa, he used to always have a saying, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And it applies, across a lot of different fields. But for these young athletes, these NCAA athletes, it's about being prepared because this is their future. This is the next step. This is the doorway, the pathway to being a pro or achieving whatever dreams they have collegiately. It starts with being ready from day one. So, I think it's a super deal, but you hit it on the head. You got to stay ready so they don't have to get ready. Another league that's just starting back this week, the NFL, week 1.
Yeah.
Some exciting games that were played. I'm excited that the NFL is back. Obviously, as a former player, it's always good to see some of my peers out there playing. Some of the guys I play with are old guys now.
Yeah.
Some guys are retiring. Shout out to my former college teammate, Adam Geddes, who just retired, NFL lineman for, I believe, 9 years. Man, this guy had a heck of a career. But it's week 1, and I'm excited about it. I can say that much. I got a chance to watch the Chiefs a little bit. Obviously, they had a big win this week.
Yeah.
What were some of the games you got a chance to watch, Lauren?
Well, I was working, of course. However,
Okay.
Being in Baltimore, living in Baltimore, working in Baltimore, I was excited to see the Ravens play, and they did not disappoint at all.
Yeah.
I was excited to see that game. They played the Cleveland, and I was expecting more from the Browns, especially they have Odell now. And although I didn't get to watch the game all the way through, I saw highlights and I was able to see here and there, just turning around looking at TVs while at work. But the Ravens did not disappoint. Lamar Jackson came to play. And I got some calls while I was at work at the news station at Fox 45. People were saying, I wasn't a fan of the Ravens not having fans in the stadium, but it seems like it's working for them.
Yeah.
Some teams are able to have 50%, and some teams decided that they're not going to have anyone in the stadium. And the Ravens are one of the teams that decided they're not going to have any fans at all. So a lot of people were upset about that news originally, but they see their team playing, they see their team getting W's, so they're not mad anymore.
Well, it's interesting that you say that
this season or this week.
Well, just to go off what you're saying too, it's interesting because the Chiefs only had about 15% of the fans in there. I think they had 17,000 fans, as opposed to their normal 79,000 fans. But it's it's crazy. It's different even for the players. I made a comparison in the show I did this week from the experience that I had at the University of Iowa in comparison to the one that I had at Tulane in the beginning as a program that was growing.
Yeah.
We didn't have a ton of fans. We had about 10,000 fans in the Superdome. That's where the New Orleans Saints play. So you can just imagine a stadium that holds 90,000 with 10,000 in it. It's pretty hollow. And that coming from the University of Iowa, where we had 77,000 fans every single week. I mean, these people were screaming and foaming at the mouth before we even got to the field. So it definitely has.
They were foaming at the mouth probably at 10 a.m. during their tailgates too.
Yeah. A couple of reasons why they were foaming, but nonetheless, it's the emotion, you can feel it in the stadium. But for a performance like that from, the Baltimore Ravens, it's excellent to see. It looks like they're leaving off right where they left off last year.
Yeah.
And Lamar Jackson's still looking. Lamar Jackson X.
Exactly.
I should say.
Another game I was actually excited about was Eagles. Us being from South Jersey, you being a former Eagles fan, I guess I should say now. I was hoping. Yeah, they did, but I was hoping to look for a little bit more. But we know Sean Bradley. He went to our high school. He went to school with me though. He was drafted to the Eagles, if I am correct. He didn't go undrafted. I'm pretty sure he was drafted. And so he got some burn in the third and fourth quarter. I think he got half of a sack. Maybe he got some help pulling him down, or not. I'm sorry, he didn't get a sack, but they lost yardage. So TFL, there we go. So him and him, he's doing well so far. He has the entire South Jersey behind him. So I was excited to see him out there on the field. Anybody else you were excited about for week 1?
Yeah, I'm excited about that same guy because this you may not even know. I got a chance to talk to this young brother, Sean Bradley, just a few weeks ago prior to their first game. Nice. Our cousin Terrence is one of his mentors, or guys that he talks to. I got a chance to just hop on the phone and give him my 2 cents. But this kid sounds like he had his head on his shoulders. Sound like he was locked in. Yeah, I am a former Eagles fan. I'll go ahead and say it. Former. I thought they was going to pick me up so I could end my career there in Philly. That would have been the beautiful.
That would have been beautiful.
The head coach was there. My guy Doug Peterson. He was here in Kansas City with me for a few years. It didn't happen, but I still, to be honest, I'm still an Eagles fan. They got a chance to win that Super Bowl since I've been alive. That's been the only one, and it's
whether you're a fan or not. Whether you're a fan or not in the South Jersey, Philadelphia area, you were ecstatic for that one.
For sure.
So that's not even a topic. But moving on a little bit, some other news that took place during that week 1 of NFL was kneeling during the national anthem. And if we
this
remember,
one was a little more controversial.
For sure. I mean, it wasn't as controversial as the first one, because if we remember correctly, when Colin Kaepernick knelt, that didn't go well at all. He currently no longer plays in the NFL. So that's how that one went. But this one was controversial because, people were putting out statements beforehand saying, I'm kneeling, I'm not kneeling. Then one player retracted and said, okay, I'm going to stand for the anthem. Now I'm not going to kneel like I once said I was. But for the most part, we saw the masses, I would say, kneel during the anthem, hand in hand with team, hand in hand with coaches. What were your thoughts on kneeling? And this is the players' protest, I would say, not from the league specifically. Yeah. We know we were supposed to see some things from the league, but from a player standpoint and a former player, what were your thoughts on players coming together, team opponents, I would say, coming together?
Well, you know me best. I mean, I support it. I'm proud when I see my peers, my former teammates, stand up, unite, and come together for a cause that, it goes without saying. I mean, we're talking about human rights, and these guys have, NFL and the players have come together, and I think really have gotten on the same page for the first time, maybe in a long time, about this particular topic. Yeah. But these players, they have to stand for these type of matters because they're affected by them. A lot of the players are African American and do have to deal with these type of issues in real life, as well as their family members, kids, wives, whatever, loved ones still have to deal with these. So these things are real. These matters are definitely real. But I'm proud to see it.
Sorry to cut you off. I'll piggyback off of that because my slogan is you stand for something or you fall for anything. And so, and that goes both sides. And so, you have people who are making arguments as to why they are not kneeling, and their reason is their reason. It doesn't need to be justified. Yeah. And so, and if you have that, a lot of people say, well, my grandfather fought in the military for some odd years. My father fought in the military, and I just cannot do that. And that is what they stand by. But I think it's awesome when a player or a coach will say that that's their reason, and then show how they are fighting and standing up for their brothers and sisters outside of the sport. some people who are giving back to social justice groups, and people who are protesting in the streets, or people who are just giving back and caring for and looking out for and reaching out to their teammates and saying, hey, what can I do? How can I learn to be a better ally? And that's what I stand for.
100%, 100%. And I think you hit it on the head. These things, they don't go away. They don't get easier. The players, we're fighting an ongoing battle to really make change. And this is just a first step, but that's life. That's where we're at right now socially. And this is the reality. These players have to stand up and use their platform, as do the other professional athletes in the other sports, Major League Baseball, NBA, even hockey. These guys are using these platforms to really make a difference. And
for sure,
it doesn't go without saying that a lot of people appreciate what they're doing, but this is just one of the controversial topics from this weekend. There's another one that really stood out from a young lady who works with ESPN, was working one of her first games, I believe, was it Monday Night
Football, her first gig with Monday Night Football. She's worked with college football. She's worked in college basketball and the NBA. Maria Taylor, if you have never heard of her, Google her. Her rap sheet's on. Okay.
Well respected, well renowned. Yeah.
Exactly. And she's great at her job. So this week, a few days ago, actually, Maria Taylor started her Monday Night Football gig, did a great job, prepared as usual, awesome. After the game she was covering, a Chicago radio host by the name of Dan McNeil suggested that Maria's outfit was not appropriate for Monday Night Football and compared it to an adult film awards show.
Yeah, I had to look it up. I didn't know what AVN was.
Me neither. I had no idea. I'm like, okay, what the heck is AVN? But his tweet said, NFL sideline reporter or host for the AVN annual awards presentation, along with a picture of her while she was working. So that was attached to the tweet. And Twitter went ham. First of all, Jemele Hill went ham, because y'all know Jemele Hill don't hold nothing back and don't come for her sisters. Okay?
She don't play like that. She does not play like that
on TV or Twitter. Okay. But I was pretty I was upset as a sportscaster, as a woman who is looking to go in media and who works in news currently, for a radio host, a colleague, I would say, to make a dig at an appearance of a female's outfit and also make a comparison to an adult film, sexualizing her outfit, I would say, is completely inappropriate. To not address, I'm sorry, I have to go in for a second. To not address the work that she did that night and the work she has done up until that point. The first thing should have ever came out his mouth or out of his tweet. That was totally inappropriate. It was disrespectful, and I don't know his work, and there's a reason for that, is all I have to say. What are your thoughts on this tweet?
Yeah, you know what? It's insensitive. It's rude. This guy, obviously, he's very, very brave to say these comments, but I look at the pictures and I saw, the material was different. We can't say that our people are not inventors of style. We've been doing this for a long time. We've always been ahead of the curve.
She wears black all the time.
And it still looked different. I thought the outfit was classic. And when I say classic, I mean classic style. It's edgy, but very respectful, tasteful. She was covered. She looked like a professional. But yeah, she's a young lady. I don't believe she's 30 years old yet. If she, nonetheless, she's representing a young culture with respect and grace and talent. We've already talked about her reputation and what she's accomplished already in this game. That should have been, like you said, the first statement out of his mouth, is how well this young lady's representing the game, representing the game of football and ESPN as well.
Exactly. Exactly. So
Yeah.
moving on from that, because I don't want to
Shout out to
spend too
her.
much time. Exactly. Shout out to Maria Taylor. I actually got to meet her one time at UVA game. She's
Awesome.
awesome. She always looks out for the next generation and wants to help the future of broadcasters. But moving on from the hate, we've got some congratulations in order for our co-host.
Yeah.
He's got a new
Oh.
gig, everyone. He has got a new gig. If you didn't hear
Okay.
earlier when he said on the show, he talked about a few things when it comes to Kansas City Chiefs. But my brother, Desmond Moses, is now
Thank
an
you.
analyst for Kansas City local news station out there called KCTV.
Yeah.
Okay. And so
KCTV
he
5.
will
Yeah.
be doing, yep, he is and will be continue being an analyst for them essentially for Kansas City Chiefs games week by week. Tell us how that
Yeah.
happened. How's it going?
Yeah.
What's it been like?
Yeah. A gentleman, that I refer to as my mentor and look up to from New Jersey, an Iowa guy, Damon Hughes. He, referred me for the spot, and
Mm-hmm.
um, I got to really talk and go through the process with Danny Welniak, who's one of the producers and directors on the show, a former female football Super Bowl two-time champion in her
Nice.
own right. I mean, I get a chance to co-host a show with a young lady named Breland Moore, who was an Emmy nominee and worked some time up in the Buffalo market with the Buffalo Bills. So, I get a chance to come on with some true professionals who
Yeah.
show me the ropes. And, I know a little bit about football. So that's where I kind of get to just put my 2 cents in. But I'm learning from two true professionals and the whole team over there. It's awesome. I'm excited. We got 1 week down, about
Yeah.
16 more to go, and we're excited. So, yeah, I appreciate the shout out and the love.
Yes,
Yeah,
of course.
we're
Slide into his
pumped.
DMs, give him a good congratulations. And you say you know a little bit of something about
Yeah,
football. I'd say you know a good amount. You made it
yeah,
to where you wanted in the league. Played for Green Bay and Kansas City Chiefs. I think you're good. But one
yeah.
team who may not know as much as they thought they knew about them playoffs is the Clippers.
Ooh,
Detroit
Clippers got
Clippers.
clipped. Those guys got clipped. And I mean by the
So
wing. Yeah. Ooh, that was a tough one.
okay. Well, we
That
got
was a
to
tough
unpack
one.
this a little bit.
Come on. Let's do it.
Okay, so the Clippers, they lost against the Nuggets in their last series 4-3. They came back,
Yeah.
they figured it. They thought they figured it out towards the end, but last game they lost 104-89.
Wow.
Jamal Murray, 40
Wow.
points. Who scored the most points on the Clippers? Yes. Don't look. Don't even
Oh.
look at it yet.
Oh, I mean, I already know it's Kawhi. It's gotta be
You
Kawhi.
thought. You thought. So
Oh no?
yes.
Who?
Harrell.
Oh.
Montrezl Harrell
No, I
scored
like
the
Montrell.
most on the
He's got a
team
really nice game.
with no, he does. I love his game. Love his
20
game, but
points.
I'm sorry, your post should not be scoring 20 your most points, and it was 20 points.
Yeah. Not
Kawhi
your
14,
6 man.
6 man.
Not the 6 man. The 6 man led
Six
the team in
man.
scoring.
And it would be
Not
different if it was Lou Williams doing it though. Lou Williams
right.
had 7.
Wow.
Paul George, 10
Yeah.
points, Kawhi 14, Beverly 11. PG talked about his mental health in the bubble. So I'm gonna lay low on him right now. Because I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lay low on him.
Yeah, because
But
that's a
Lou
serious thing. But
Williams,
yeah.
6 man in the year, 7 points. Bev, I don't know how many steals he had, but 11 points,
Wow.
playoff game, game 7. You got to bring more than that. What? I don't know if you watched the game, Des, but the Nuggets, Clippers.
Oh.
What went wrong?
It was sad. To be honest, I saw part of the game because once I saw the fight was gone, I couldn't stomach it.
That's always the worst.
It is sad. Kawhi, he fought his heart out the entire season. He's more of a playoff guy. He got it going. It's really unfortunate because this is not just a one-game problem.
Yeah.
There are 3 games in which these guys didn't get it done.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a heck of a coach. They have plenty of talent. All of the accolades you can ask for, from defensive players, the scoring leaders, to six
man of the
men,
year,
to coaches of the year, to players of the year, to the MVPs. But when it comes down to it, and that's the beauty of sports. we can't overlook. The paperwork doesn't get it done. You have to go out there and perform night in and night out. And the Clippers didn't get it done. But less about what they didn't do. Let's talk more about who did do. And the Denver Nuggets, these guys did. They came out and balled. They got behind early, 3-1, obviously in the series. But they came back and fought like some true warriors, no pun intended.
Yeah.
What do you think about their performance and how they really fought back to win the series?
Well, I mean, the Nuggets have they have their players. They have their go-tos, and it's more about team effort, I think, when it comes down to the playoffs, because everyone has a star, right? So team effort is going to trump like anything, like to me at least.
Dog. That's the dog.
That's the dog mentality. Like what do they say? Hard work don't. What does it say?
Hard work beat talent when talent don't work hard. I mean, every time.
Every single time. But who would have thought the Heat and the Nuggets would have been in the finals? Who would have thought?
And the Nuggets, yeah. And in their respective conferences, obviously. But yeah, they're two teams that really were off people's radar. I mean, I didn't know the Nuggets were like that. I'm not going to lie and act like I'm in their market or I watched
I really didn't at all.
that kid Murray, that boy played like he dark skinned. I mean, he's the real deal now. He's the real deal. The way I seen him go back and forth with Spider Mitchell. I mean, this kid, he's a real scorer. He's an assassin. He's one of those guys who we talk about all the time. Kobe Bryant, the Black Mamba, has had an effect on his game, influenced him in the offseason, got a chance to mentor him. But, I mean, his light is shining bright. I mean, Kobe still, as a whole, is shining. Even in the Eastern Conference, we talk about, one of Kobe's other disciples for the Boston Celtics. Their lead scorer, their lead assassin. Another guy that's playing like he's dark skinned. I mean, these guys are playing. I'm excited to see it. I watch these guys night in and night out. I grew up on tough basketball.
I'm excited to see those matchups for sure.
Yeah.
Because Miami Heat, I was gonna say Miami Heat, they lay low, I would say, throughout the season. And I would honestly say towards the beginning of the season before everything shut down, Miami Heat was like that. They were going off. I won't be surprised. I won't be surprised if I see the Heat end up with the Lakers. And I'm not negating the Nuggets, but
Yeah.
LeBron,
you know what else?
Nuggets.
You know what else? I think these Final Four teams show that the NFL, or excuse me, the NBA, they have some new stars on the horizon.
That's very true.
There's a lot of young guns out here, guys we haven't seen, guys that don't have the huge sneaker deals quite yet. But they're making a name for themselves, and
they doing what it do.
Making it do what it do.
Well, what we said a little bit earlier, to stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. These four teams have been ready, I will say. Yeah. They showed it when it counted. Not to throw any hate or shade to any other team, but these teams clearly have proven that they deserve to be in the positions that they're in. So they got to fight.
They got it done.
Because the chip is still out there, and people are gonna say, "Well, this season was different. They were in the bubble." Championship is a championship.
They built with a ton of distractions on all different accounts, but the moral of the story and the topic of this episode, it is what it is. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
You can follow me on Instagram at Lauren.Brielle with 2 E's at the end, and on Twitter at Lauren_Brielle with 2 E's at the end. However, to stay updated on everything Moses Squared, follow us on Instagram at Moses Squared Podcast, which is all one word. There, we will be posting everything from sports news to IGTV videos and more. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll catch you next time. God bless.